2, 1, lift off.
Haha! All right, we are live, and I got a little bit of an intro that I wanted to read before we got started, so here we go. So, I served in this country for 12 years, 3 tours in Iraq. I've seen friends die. I've seen others come home broken, physically, mentally, emotionally, only to be tossed aside like trash. And now, under this administration, it is only getting worse. Donald Trump and his billionaire buddy Elon Musk don't give a damn about veterans. That's not hyperbole. That's a fact. Trump has made it clear over and over again what he really thinks about us. He called fallen soldiers losers and suckers. He said he prefers people who weren't captured when talking about John McCain. This is the guy who dodged the draft with fake bone spurs, but he has the audacity to mock POWs and Gold Star families. And Musk, he's been handed the keys to the government and is already tearing apart the VA like it's just another business he can strip for parts. And now, with Musk whispering in his ear, Trump is gutting what little safety we have left. Over 1,000 VA employees just got the axe, including people working for the Veterans Crisis Line, the literal last lifeline for countless vets on the edge. You cut that and you're literally pulling the trigger for them. Full stop. They're also freezing funding for veteran homelessness programs, slashing disability benefits, and making it harder for veterans to get care. Musk and his billionaire cronies want to privatize the VA, turning our healthcare into just another way for them to make a buck while we bleed out in the waiting rooms. I didn't survive Iraq just to come home and get screwed over by my own government, and I'm not alone. Every veteran watching this needs to understand this isn't just bad policy. This is life and death. Our lives. If you think these cuts won't affect you, think again. The crisis line might not be your last resort today, but it could be tomorrow. The VA appointment that they just made harder to get, that could be the one that catches your cancer too late. That housing program they're gutting, that could be the only thing keeping you or a brother in arms off the streets. And this isn't just about veterans. This is about every single person serving right now. If this administration doesn't care about those of us who have already fought and sacrificed, what makes you think they will care about the men and women still on active duty? The ones gearing up for deployment? The ones coming home to a country that is actively making it harder for them to survive? So here's the deal. I'm opening this up. Questions, comments, concerns? I want to hear from you. Veterans, military families, active duty service members, everyday Americans who actually give a damn. Let's talk about what's happening and what we're going to do about it.
And it's just a comment. I'm gonna.
Yeah. No, that was the opening. Go ahead. You're the first to respond.
I'll be real with you. I will be speaking just because this is a little bit of a pet subject of mine. Something I love talking about. Because I will mostly, and if I talk about something related to the military, is I will be discussing specifically from the point of the Middle East.
Sure.
Because that is kind of literally the extent of my knowledge, is what the military has done in the Middle East.
I mean, to be fair, this conversation isn't about what the military does. This is about how the country is, how the current administration running the country is attacking veterans' benefits. So, I can't. I'm not going to say don't talk about your understanding of the military wherever it is, but sure. But this is definitely, at least my point in tonight's segment is about pointing at how the U.S. veterans are losing rights, losing benefits that this country, for the most part, has agreed that we deserve to have. And yet we have people who voted for this person who is gutting the shit out of those veterans benefits. I can't.
I actually
go ahead.
Actually have something to say.
Go ahead.
Actually is on top.
Go ahead.
And that's that. So, I have spoken at great length before about military action across the world. Anything is done, and I've been admittedly very critical. But I want to point out, and this is one thing I want to find very clear, all the things I have been very critical of were people acting at the orders of the United States government. And now, this same government is turning around and treating people that it ordered to do all kinds of things, good, bad, in between. People who have sacrificed their lives, or a good portion of their lives at the very least, and oftentimes their lives entirely, to serve this nation, for better or worse, think of it like a marriage here, and then it turns around and, like a bad divorce, fucks them over.
I can relate to everything you said for different reasons.
All I can say to that is I'm going to do a mildly emotional appeal here, is that anyone who is still supporting all of this administration, whatever, just shame on you, and never call yourself a patriot, because you don't know what that means.
And here's...
Still supporting this.
Go ahead.
You cannot... If you're still supporting this, you have no right to call yourself a patriot, because you obviously do not give a flying shit.
No, I agree with you entirely on that. Now, here's one thing I do want to say to that effect. Some of the criticism, sadly, that I have been on the receiving end of is, you mentioned, acting on orders of the U.S. government. And some people have criticized me for, hey, the Nazis were just following orders, right? I have to admit that I am personally responsible for what you would call collateral damage, or what the U.S. government would call collateral damage. I don't think most people call it that. Sorry, but I have been responsible for collateral damage, i.e., loss of life of people who were non-combatants, because they were in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I was the one pulling the trigger. And that weighs on me hard, and I've been called a baby killer, and any defense that I could try to muster, there are people who would just call me a baby killer. But you brought up an interesting point, right? This isn't the Nuremberg trials, right? I'm not defending whether or not I was following orders. This is my own government taking care of me for serving, right? This is not me being on trial for what wrongs I might have committed while my government was giving me orders. This is about my government taking care of me because I was doing what they told me to, right?
And I have two to that very point, or a few things at that very point, actually.
Mm-hmm.
One, when I say people are acting on the orders of the government, I am not trying to absolve them of individual responsibility.
I don't absolve myself of individual responsibility. I want to make that fucking clear.
Yeah, and I fully get that. I mean, I was never in your same position, obviously, but I can relate to that feeling. But two, and all the more importantly, even for those of you who might see this, hopefully, and those of you who might not believe that healthcare or all these different things are universal rights, I think we can all agree that that people like this man have damn well earned it.
I mean, I'm not trying to say I'm special. I genuinely believe that everyone should have health care. And I also, fucking UBI, I'm basically getting UBI My disability, because I have 100% disability, and I'm trying to create my own YouTube channel for the sake of that's not enough. So here we are. But no, I'm not trying. I'm not trying to say that I deserve any of this more than anybody else. I am trying to illustrate how fucked up it is that within, what is it, 4 or 5 weeks of the new administration taking over, and they just took away the Veterans Suicide Hotline. Well, they didn't take away the hotline. Sorry, the hotline is still active. If you are listening and you are feeling the need to talk to somebody about problems of self-harm, the hotline is still active. Please call, what is it, 288? 288? Yeah, you look it up. Thank you. You look it up while I'm spitting out of my ass. The hotline is... Go ahead. Veterans Crisis Line.
The number for the
it's like an 888, I think.
Line is 988 and press 1 to reach the line.
Okay, so if you are experiencing crisis, if you feel thoughts of self-harm or harming somebody else, call 988, press 1, just as we said. So the crisis line is still open, but Elon Musk's government efficiency team just cut 1,000 employees from the Veterans Administration, including conductors of the Veterans Crisis Line, and because he called it $90 million of government waste. So apparently, keeping veterans alive is government waste. That is what the administration is telling the American people, that keeping veterans alive is government waste.
And to really just get the vision out there, do you know how many jobs got the axe?
1,000. They cut exactly 1,000 jobs.
1,000 jobs got the axe. That's wild.
Yeah, 1,000 jobs was worth $90 million.
You know, like what the percent of the different types of jobs that were removed?
I do not have that information in front of me. And I'm not even sure if the breakdown has been released. So, no, I don't know.
I'm curious how many of those jobs were mental health related.
All of them. Yeah, no, this was 100% a cut from mental health.
Oh, okay.
Well,
wow.
Ladies and gents, I have to go. It's late over here, so I have to get
Sure.
See y'all later.
Yeah.
Goes well. I hope to work with you in the future.
Absolutely. We'll talk more later. And Lobo, we'll continue this conversation as long as you and I want to have it.
I'm a night owl.
All right.
I work in the evenings and afternoons, so I'm good.
I prepared a closing statement, but I also prepared a list of frequently asked questions and answers to those frequently asked questions so that if anybody asked them, I had the information ready to go. So, yeah, let's just keep this going. You and me, we will talk about the issue, and I feel like, especially since in the beginning it was me and Brigham talking mostly, I want to hear your thoughts. Let's just, I'm going to shut up for a second and let you give your take.
Okay. Well, disclaimer, I have not been part of the military.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know quite a few people who have been, just friends. And then I also work with clients as a therapist, and some clients have PTSD or complex PTSD, who have been in the military, and then I also work with people who have PTSD for other reasons. But the symptoms and the results are often very much the same, despite the differences in how those disorders came about, and they're extremely debilitating. I mean, it can impact every aspect of life. And a lot of times people they can't keep going. It's too much. From anywhere from a constant barrage of images or things that trigger them to remember the things that happened in the past. So basically reliving the trauma. And if you think about it, that's what PTSD is. Post-traumatic. So it's maybe long after the traumatic event happened, or series of events, which is typical in the military, because you see repeated harm around you over and over and over again. And you still have like a stress reaction to it, even though you're like not necessarily in harm's way anymore. It can really feel like you're back there again.
So,
yeah.
One of the things, and you didn't necessarily announce this specifically, but I know that you are in the mental health care field from our previous interactions. So, I would like to ask you, what is your opinion as a mental health care professional? What is your opinion on the impact of shutting down the Veterans Crisis Hotline, or even just reduction of staff for taking crisis calls? Like what is your opinion about what professionally what the impact of that can be?
Let's just think about it just in terms of numbers. One of those 1,000 people, if they are working a full-time job, we're looking at, maybe 8 clients. Well, I mean, if they worked an hour on the phone because sometimes you can be on the phone for quite a while with someone that's going through this.
I'm going to break in. I'm going to break in real quick and say,
yeah,
I have called this hotline. This hotline has saved my life.
Oh,
I'm going to throw that out there, people, to everybody listening. There's a reason why I am passionate about this particular service getting a cut. I would not be here talking to you right now if it did not exist. That is a fucking fact.
Yeah. No,
I was
hotlines.
Sorry.
Sorry.
It took me a second to build up to it, but I do want to share this fact because of how, pardon the pun, impactful it will be. When I called this number, when I called the Veterans Crisis Hotline, I was pulling my 45 out of my mouth to speak to the crisis counselor. I was there. I was on the edge, and I'm here speaking today because of how important this service is. Continue, please.
For feeling comfortable to share that,
Yeah, no,
it's hard. 1,000 counselors on the phone throughout the day making contact. I mean, that's a lot of people that aren't getting heard, and having someone listen to them, and
in my opening statement, as I said, cutting this program is pulling the trigger for them, and I said that for a reason in my opening statement. That was a direct reference to my own experience. I almost put a bullet in my head.
I think it's important to personalize this and to share, because I think a lot of times people don't feel comfortable talking about their experiences like that. It's a very personal, very difficult conversation for a lot of people, but I think it's good that people hear that this is something that happens, and it also normalizes those experiences that people have coming from the military, depending on what they did. But even secondhand trauma, which is like, maybe you weren't stationed in a particular place where a lot of violence happened, but some of your friends don't come back. That's extremely traumatic. Because I don't know if you've probably heard this at some point, I would imagine.
My response to, if you can think of a thing that a person could experience in the military short of dying, I probably saw it. Let's just roll with that assumption, without going into details.
Yeah. So, like, anyone in the military can experience PTSD regardless if they've actually been on field or not. And I think that's important to say too, because sometimes people will say, well, you were stationed here and didn't see this, therefore you couldn't possibly be harmed by it. And
that
is really true.
Sadly, you even have that in within the military, where you have there's a derogatory term that is used for the people who never leave base when deployed. They call them fobbits, right? Like a combination between hobbit and fob. FOB is an acronym, stands for Forward Operational Base. So the fobbits are the ones who never leave the fob, right? So you didn't go out. All you did was just sit on base. The worst danger you were in was that base getting mortared. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to cast shade on any of them. I'm trying to explain where even that, like, the trauma Olympics. There's like a trauma Olympics even within the military. Like, and I feel like that trauma Olympics needs to be like, dude, we don't need to be competing over which one of us got more fucked up, because we all got a little fucked up. Like, there's no way to come out of this experience not a little fucked up. So, and then of course trauma is subjective, because two people can experience the same event and one be more traumatized than the other, because like, I two people watch the same person die, right? And then you have one person who is able to brush it off, and then another person who just like internalizes survivor's guilt hardcore. So and we have a new guest in the audience, Cindy. I do want to ask if Cindy wants to join the conversation. You are welcome. I will invite you to come up and speak, or you can just stay in the audience. Your choice. But this is an open roundtable conversation. Hello, welcome, Cindy.
Hi.
Hi. So, I don't know how much of the conversation you've been following before you joined us, but we're talking about the cuts that the U.S. government, especially Elon Musk / Donald Trump, have made to veterans benefits, especially the Veterans Suicide Crisis Line. So if you have thoughts, opinions, weigh-ins about that, welcome to the conversation.
Oh, I literally just got here, so I haven't heard anything that you have said.
Sure.
But I do know, like, I mean, my opinions is that they're messing everything up, and I definitely think that, like, firing all those people, I mean, just, like, all the cuts they're making is definitely dangerous.
Sure. Yeah.
And they're not paying attention to any of these details.
And just to piggyback off that and reemphasize a point that I made earlier, this cut was made by Elon Musk's Doge team, the Department of Government Efficiency, and they cut it because they considered it $90 million of waste. So they are saying that the $90 million being spent on the Veterans Crisis Line or any of the other positions that were eliminated are wasteful. And all of these positions were VA positions, Veterans Administration positions. So they are saying that we're spending too much money taking care of veterans. That is the message.
I totally agree with that.
It's very dehumanizing.
It's very dehumanizing. And I think that they're not thinking about humans as they're making any of these decisions. They're just going in there and saying, can we like just stop any money so that we can get what we want?
Now,
they're not thinking about humans.
Yeah, and this is the part where I want to emphasize the fact that. Oh yes, thank you, Demon. I do plan to. Part of my plan tonight was to talk about what can we actually do about it. I do have notes prepared on that, and I'll even start leading into that right after I finish what I was about to say. But thank you in the chat, Demon, for reminding me that it's not just about complaining about these things. What can we actually do about it? So I will finish what I was going to say and segue into that. So, where was I before I got distracted by Demon? Something about, oh, yes, I remember. So, one thing I want to make sure that any veteran or active duty member listening, I know a ton of you voted for Trump. I don't want to have a conversation with you about why you voted for Trump. I don't want to argue with you about what happened before November 6th, 2024. I want to have a conversation with you about whether or not you think, after hearing what we talk about tonight, do you believe that this administration gives a fuck about veterans, gives a fuck about the military? If you voted for him and you are a veteran or you are active duty military, and you think that this man still gives a fuck about you, I want to have a conversation with you. I want you to hit me up in the comments. I want you to come to my Discord and have a debate with me. I want to talk with you because you and I need to have a real conversation. Because if you are watching this and you still think that the Trump administration gives a flying fuck about the military or veterans, You are wrong, and you need to know why. And if you disagree, let's have this chat. I'm here for it. Now, but after that, before I get into what we can do about this, I want to pass it over to each of the guests that I have with me, Lobo and then Cindy, to respond to anything I just said, because I don't want to just keep going. This is a roundtable conversation. So, Lobo, please, anything you want to add before I go on to the next part?
You know, in regards to voting, a lot of people probably had very particular reasons for what they did, but I do wonder if maybe they were either misinformed or they missed some information pertaining to what might have happened with like benefits and things like that. I do wonder how surprised they might be now.
Sure.
I am curious about if opinions change, and if so, by how much. But I think that's all I have regarding what you just talked about now.
Sure. Cindy, anything to add before I go on to the next part?
I would say the only person that I know that like voted for Trump
is your dad. Sorry.
I wasn't gonna call him out, but
I'm sorry. I already know you, and I know. I'm sorry. I had to. Okay. Here's this is a deep cut.
We haven't had this conversation yet of the last conversation I had with him.
I know, but here's a deep cut, and one of the reasons why I had Cindy's dad was one of my master teachers when I was doing my student teacher stuff to get my credential as an educator. Her father was one of my student teachers. So,
yeah.
Cindy and I go way back. We grew up together, and then also we live in a small rural town, and so when I did my credential and I requested of my credential program to go back to my alma mater to do my student teaching, and her dad ended up being one of my master teachers because that's the fucking small town we live in. That's. I'm sorry. Continue. I cut you off, but that was a tidbit that was worth sharing.
Yeah. So that's a little background. So yeah, my dad is the person I'm talking about. So we had a very brief conversation. We cut it off because I got very, very angry, emotional. Because anyway, I'll get to the point. My dad only listens to very bias confirming information, and so I don't believe that he even has all the information like that he needs to have. I don't know if there's a lot of Trump supporters who just don't know like the whole information. Because they only listen to bias, confirmation, and like because they're ignorant. I don't know. You know what I mean?
I do. I know exactly what you mean, and I promise, as soon as I upload this to Dave's World, I will send you the link. I will send everybody the link once it's live.
Yeah, he literally said to me like, "I just love how many budget cuts Trump is making. It's really making it better for our country." And I was like, my jaw just dropped. The thing is that the reason why we're having a conversation is my brother was literally just not. He didn't hear about any of the bad things Elon was doing because my brother just really likes technology. And he's like, "Oh, you're not a fan of Elon?" I was like, "Dude, no. Have you been in the news?" And he just hadn't heard. So we've had that conversation.
So
then my dad chimed in with the budget thing.
So specifically, I'm very curious. After we upload this and you're able to share it with him, because we are talking about budget cuts, and the budget cuts we are talking about is the Veteran Suicide Crisis Hotline, I am very curious if Curtis Connors gives a fuck about whether or not our administration just cut my veterans' benefits. I want you to understand, Curtis, because I know who you are, and man, I love you, Cindy. I love you so hard, but your dad needs to hear this. Curtis, you voted to kill me. You did. You voted to kill me. I want you to know that. And if you care to have a conversation about it, you know my Facebook. You know my DMs. You know how to get a hold of me. I am very disappointed in you as a human being, Curtis. I am. Now, Demon asked which link. I am going to be uploading this. We are recording tonight. I wasn't able to get this onto live, so I will. We are recording, and then I'm going to be uploading this to my YouTube channel. So I am glad that you were able to join us. Have a good night. I will provide the link to this so that you can see it later. Anyway, I do not apologize for calling your dad out, Cindy. I've been upset about this for some time, and especially if he said he loves the budget cuts, I want him to tell me he loves this budget cut. That's where I'm at hearing that. When you said he loves the budget cuts, I want him to tell me he loves this budget cut. Because this budget cut would have killed me.
Yeah. I understand.
So, that's how serious this is, guys. I mean, like, I know I'm getting hot and heavy, but that's why I felt tonight I needed to talk about this, because people are going to die. Not me from the veterans crisis thing, but there are other veterans budget cuts that are being implemented and suggested, and the reality is I will not have a livelihood if these programs are cut. I am a veteran existing on 100% disability. That is what is keeping me alive, is the income from my disability, essentially retirement, and the medical benefits that I get from the VA, and the housing benefits, my VA home loan, is keeping a roof over my head. All of these things, our president is killing. And that means when these programs are killed, veterans are killed. So, before I go into what we can do about this, one last toss over to Lobo.
And I have a lot of thoughts, actually.
I share all of the ones that you have that you can latch onto. That is, I genuinely don't want to be the only one talking here.
So, like, earlier I heard, like, a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, a lot of hurt, because, it feels like people are voting against, people are voting against your best interests and your health and wellness and everything like that. and that's so easy to invoke anger. Like, how could that not? But then at the same time, I wonder, like, I'm sure he didn't purposely vote in such a way to be hurtful, right?
He didn't know.
Intentionally.
He didn't know, but he needs to know, or anybody listening. And I know I invoked somebody's name here specifically, and I do want to throw out Curtis Connors. That's also the name of the lizard on Spider-Man, and I know that the Curtis Connors I'm talking to loves the fact that he is the lizard on Spider-Man. It's a generic name, so I did not call out anybody who can be doxxed. I just want to throw that out there. I literally could have been talking to the lizard. Sorry, go ahead.
No, but at the same time, you are presenting real raw emotion, and I do think that is important to share.
Oh, Cindy's back. She had to dip out for a second, and I need to bring her back up. She does not have the ability. Oh, all right. Sorry.
So, I think, there's so many information bubbles, and what I mean by that is just simply, people tend to live in a vacuum of the information that they agree with, the confirmation bias.
Yeah.
And for those that may not understand what that is you tend to be forced into only seeing news because of things like algorithms that will only show you one side of the story, and then it hides the other side. And in a lot of cases, there are misinformations or just outright lies. So you've got people who already kind of distrust the government to start with, or distrust science and things like that for a variety of different reasons. Some of them may be warranted from the past, but they get generalized to everything. So there's this huge amount of distrust already. And it's really hard to get people to trust when there's kind of like anger being forced at them. Because they tend to stonewall, which is basically when it's like, oh no, I've heard enough, I'm out. Like, I don't want to deal with this. And we don't want that. We want people to be able to, I think, engage into conversation so that we can help them understand. Because how nice would it be if we could have people who currently disagree with our perspectives and how we feel about things, and for those people to eventually become allies and be like, you know what? You're right. This is terrible. This is going to hurt a lot of people. A lot of people might die from this particular topic.
Right.
So that's just kind of... Oh, I'm sorry. What did you say?
No. I was yes-anding. I was active listening. I said right. I said right.
I apologize because sometimes my internet's weird here, and sometimes it cuts out now and then.
And also, I'm known for interrupting people, so.
No worries.
I did want to. I did want to reflect on one thing you said, because you did point out that, like, this person that I'm angry at, the lizard. Let's just call him the lizard because so just so I'm not gonna like keep naming names, I'm gonna say the lizard. The reason why the lizard upsets me so much on this is because I expected better of him because I've known him for so long, and but I also want him to know that I don't think that he made these choices with genuine knowledge of the consequences. And I don't believe that the Curtis Connors that I know would appreciate the damage that the lizard did. And I'm trying to go very hard into the Marvel metaphor there.
Yeah.
I don't believe that. I believe Curtis Connors is a good man, but the Lizard makes some really fucked up decisions based on what the Lizard wanted, and the Lizard did not understand the full consequences of the Lizard's actions.
I agree. I agree.
I agree with that. At the same time, though, and I know I'm playing devil's advocate here, but not really. I'm just trying to.
No, for sure, but I want to hear it.
Okay, so it's nearly impossible if you don't have the tools to do a job. You can't do the job.
Right.
And in this case, if you don't have the knowledge of what's going to happen, you can't make predictions.
Well, that's kind of why I'm trying to run with the Lizard metaphor. The idea that in Spider-Man, right? Curtis Connors transforms himself into the Lizard, and his Lizard brain takes over. His baser instincts, the things that the things that someone without a fully developed cerebral cortex gives a fuck about. The Lizard brain is taking over. I'm saying and I'm saying this to the veterans and military members who still support this administration. I believe that the Lizard brain has taken over. That is what led you to these decisions, and the rational human part of you would not have made these decisions. The rational human part of you would not have checked that bubble on November 6th, because if you were engaging that part of you, you wouldn't have made that decision. I'm trying to have some faith in reason here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's shows like this that would help people become more aware of maybe what they've missed and open their eyes perhaps to, okay, what information did I miss, and more importantly, how do I get that information that I'm not getting from my current source or sources?
I kind of wanted to make a slight aside to, like, hey, Ground News, if you want to sponsor this video, I am open. Let me know. No, I know there's a process to sign up for sponsors, so I honestly, I genuinely would consider for my gaming channel, I have W Energy as a sponsor, which is an energy drink that markets to gamers. But like, yeah, no, Ground News is totally one that I think would be way more appropriate to submit for sponsorship for this kind of content.
Yeah.
Hey,
How are you, man? I got some documents here for you from your homeowner association.
you can deliver them to me in my mailbox. I'm working right now.
That's okay. I can leave them right here for you.
No, I have not been. Nope. You can take them away. Nope.
There you go.
No. I was not served. You did not. No. You did not.
Absolutely.
You did not serve me.
Sure, my dear. I'm talking to you right here.
No, you did not. You are intruding into my home, sir.
No, I'm not. I'm looking right at you.
You don't even know that you're talking to the right person.
I do. They gave you a description of you.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So, and you're pretty
That's
distinctive.
fun.
Okay, so you do realize that they're trying to serve me because no. I want you to know, if we're actually having this conversation, sir, if you are insisting that this conversation is happening, I want you to know they are serving me because they have a problem with LGBTQ people in the complex, and they are trying to attack me for being an LGBTQ father because I have a trans daughter. So you If you think we're having this conversation, you think that it is okay to attack trans children. That is my statement. And also, fun fact, I'm live recording right now for my YouTube channel. That's what you are interrupting. So if you think you're having this conversation with the person that you're having with, and you are okay with this right here, this attacking of me because my homeowners association has a problem with me putting up an LGBTQ flag, please continue doing what you are doing, sir. That is on your conscience. But I am not admitting to being the person that you say that you are supposedly serving. They say you say they gave you a description, but you're looking at me through a screen door. I don't. Yeah, you can see me. You can see me. I don't know what you're seeing. It doesn't really matter what you're seeing.
I'll be my affidavit.
You know what? Cool. I'm also live streaming right now.
I hear you, brother. And you gotta be careful on these because you do go to jail on me. So.
I can go to jail. You're threatening me with jail right now because I'm saying that you're not talking to the person you think you're talking to. Yeah. Okay. No. Do what you're gonna do. Do what you're gonna do. You did not serve me.
Yes, I did.
No, you did not. Nope. Oh, no. You shouted through a door. 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 You shouted. Keep talking. You shouted through a door. You're shouting through a door. You're shouting through a door. You're shouting through a door.
The door. They can't come in your home.
No. I can't.
Just close the door.
I can't.
I'm not trying to tell you what to do.
I had to stay. I had to stay out of his view as I did all that. I'm about to go close the door, but yeah, I apologize. Obviously, I'm going to cut all that. Well, no.
My HOA. HOA.
My HOA is my HOA is literally suing me for putting up. This has been an ongoing thing.
It's okay.
It's been something I've been fighting for years, but they literally cut.
It's very similar in my area too.
They literally cut down my sorry, I'm very triggered right now, to be honest.
No, you're okay, Sapper. It's understandable.
We need a
I've
break.
had similar things happen. Yeah, but Sapper, I mean, it's HOA. It's like they think they're hot shit. Like, it's kind of funny if you think about it in a way. Not funny that what they're doing, of course. They're doing the same thing, in all the neighborhoods where I live as well. And we're all so very frustrated. So very frustrated.
I would like to just maybe take a bio break, and I want to continue. I have a closing to this. I do. And of course, I was recording and not live streaming, so I
You're good, Sapper. No worries.
so what I'm gonna
I'll just take a break for a sec.
yeah, I'm just going to pause, and maybe I'll have an advertiser to throw in on this later if I'm lucky. But yeah, my HOA has been attacking me for some time. They have issues with lots of stuff, but the trans flag that I threw up for my oldest child when they came out to me was the super instigator, because when I threw that up, they demanded I take it down. I didn't take it down. They cut it down with a hacksaw, and then ever since then, every little thing that could possibly be complained about, they are suing me about now. So it's welcome to Trump's America. And we will take a break. And when we come back, I promise I actually have some like stuff to talk about, like what we can do about this positively. This was not supposed to be an all doom and gloom podcast. So we will take 5 to 10 bio break, and I'm not even going to bother pausing the recording, because since we are recording, I can just cut the things that I need to cut. Or maybe I won't, because fuck it. You know what? Some of y'all might, maybe I'll just upload the whole thing and y'all can just scroll 10 minutes ahead of this. But I'm going to go have a smoke and be a little less mad. Racist, homophobic, transphobic assholes!
Oh, it's Megaforce. Megaforce Scotty. And I apologize that my voice, I've got a sore throat and a pretty bad headache, so I
hey,
apologize. I
Demon.
haven't been able to really offer much input. It was a late night last night.
It sounds like your voice is really rough. Ouch.
Yeah, and it's just some instant response stuff. So, I think I usually have like hand sanitizers. Maybe I just pick something up, or I might just be run down. It's been a tough week, We'll see. I remember as a kid, just sore throats were the worst.
Yeah, being sick is never fun. Any kind of sickness. But sore throats, I mean, it's hard to get rid of that.
Yeah, it's not like my voice is rough, but I don't feel like it's like I've been an infection or anything like that. It's just it is what it is.
Scotty seems to approve. Hi, Scotty.
I can't do the impression right now, but it's like what was Simpsons? I have the season 1 box set right there. Marge's sisters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Patty and Thelma.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel so silly. I'm like, I've seen this stuff so much. I'm like, what was their names again? Like, I'm 80 years old. Oh, yeah. I don't know about that, but thanks, Scotty. That's a nice compliment. But we're talking about veteran stuff. You silly kids. Demi Moore.
And just as a heads up, Demon, we're just on a little break right now. It should be over in maybe like 5 minutes or so, I'm guessing.
Oh,
I haven't
I'm
really
fine.
timing.
No, there's no rush at all. No rush. No troubles.
Scotty, we had a bit of an interruption. And we're just kind of we're processing, we're recovering, we're gonna reconverge and maybe get back to where we are. Like, not trying to sensationalize, but there was somewhat of an intrusion. But I think Sapper would be best to describe. Okay. You know what? I'm going to join over there and just kind of discuss that, and then I'll come back here. Oh, you're saying you're in a different voice chat right now. I'm so sorry. Understood.
I wanna be a little more like you. I wanna walk like you, talk like you, it's true. I wanna be a little more like you. Alright.
No worries, Scotty. This is something that can easily wait, and can be discussed later. That's not healthy for your ears. I would advise against that.
He blew out his ears a long time ago, old man. Just jokes, just jokes.
You have that like permanently, or is it just sometimes? My father has tinnitus and it's permanent from brain damage, and he describes it as like a constant siren, like the air raid sirens that just don't stop.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome back, Seth.
So,
So, how are you doing?
It turns out that that little HOA interruption was my neighbor who has a problem with a lot of things. The same people who cut down when I threw up the trans flag in honor of my child who came out. They just sent their son over to pretend like they were serving me papers.
I thought the police were at your door, actually, so I interpreted that. Still, not.
Oh my God, are you kidding? There's a fucking. Oh my God, there's a doorbell ring.
Is this all recorded?
No, I'm
recorded on video.
I'm recording, but I'm not live streaming. But my doorbell just rang.
No, that's okay. Somebody just I mean, that sounds like impersonation. That's not good. What your neighbor's son did, anyways. That's
Hello?
surely not legal.
Hello? Hello? I thought somebody was at my door. Is there somebody at my door? Nope. Oh, who's at my door? Okay, I don't care. Yeah, they're still trying to engage me like I need to engage them. Okay. What the fuck? Oh shit. My video timed. Yeah, my video froze. Hold on. Man, that's weird. I hope I don't have to disconnect and reconnect, but Discord Gremlin being what it is, give me a second. Huh. I mean, that didn't solve the problem. Weird. I see the red light on my camera. Y'all hear me?
I can hear you. I
But-
do not see you.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah, it's just a poor internet connection you have. And it might not be on your end, Sapper. Sometimes there's issues with Discord. It's
Yeah.
it's a little complicated to explain, and it's hard to really trace the, so I wouldn't worry about it. But on my end, it says because I looked at it, and just the connection is poor. It will probably come back, so I wouldn't worry about it too much.
All right, so let's just continue because I really feel like what I'm saying is way more important than what people are seeing. I also did, we've got Cindy and Scotty, and I want to invite both of them up to join to speak if either of them want to. So I will throw that out there. It did suck that my HOA decided to fuck with me in the middle of this, and y'all heard part of that, but I am going to push on, and I do wanted to get into what I said would be the second part of this, would be what can we do about the problems that we were talking about. And god damn it, the spinning thing is bugging the shit out of me. I'm going to try and disconnect and reconnect again because fuck it, it's my show and I can edit this out later. Okay, so my Discord needed some updates, and it decided to like not. Sorry, I just got a text that I have to respond to. No, we got it. It was so weird. Anyway, where were we? I was coming off of my HOA decided to throw some bullshit my way right in the middle of this recording, and we semi-addressed my opinions on that. But getting back to the point of the show was there are some things affecting veterans' benefits that we have talked about tonight, and I did say that I was going to share what can we do about it, right? Like, because just going through the doom and gloom of it is not it doesn't really help anybody. Like, it doesn't give this video any purpose other than to just whine and complain about things that we don't like. So I did prepare a list of answers to frequently asked questions that might have come up, but we didn't have a ton of people asking questions. So I do want to go through these, rather than answers to FAQs, just share, like, here's the summary of the issue, and that's how I'm going to present this. So, what specific programs have been affected by the recent cuts? Over 1,000 VA employees have been laid off, including those working the Veterans Crisis Line, which is the last lifeline for suicidal veterans. Funding for veterans' homelessness programs has been frozen. Disability benefits are on the chopping block, making it harder for disabled vets to receive the compensation they deserve. Fortunately, I'm already one of the people who has been awarded benefits, and I'm less on the chopping block. What I'm saying here does refer more to those trying to access benefits that they don't already have. To be clear, so nobody calls me out on saying anything incorrect. The Office of the Coordinator for Afghan Relocation Efforts, otherwise known as CARE, responsible for resettling Afghan allies, i.e. the translators who were working for us upon threat of death because the Taliban, is being shut down, leaving thousands who fought alongside us abandoned. 2. How does... Oh, sorry, go ahead. I do have links. I do. Yes. I do have links that I can provide into the chat. Give me a second. Copy link URL. No. I was this prepared. I want to say I was this prepared. Where is the chat? God damn it, there it is. There's the chat. So this is the first article I'm presenting is from va.gov. The second article I am presenting is from Reuters, or I don't know how the fuck you pronounce it, but both of those are going into the chat. Specifically, the Reuters one is the one about the Afghan resettlement program being frozen. But no, thank you for requesting that I have links on this. I was that prepared. And I'm kind of proud of myself for being that prepared. I did research this. How does the privatization of VA services affect veterans? Privatization shifts the focus from patient care to profit, meaning higher costs, longer wait times, and reduced access to specialized care. Veterans with complex medical needs, such as PTSD, traumatic brain injuries, I'll be one of those. Not ashamed to admit it, I'm fucked in the head. And I get paid for it. Will get shoved. Traumatic brain injuries and amputations will get shoved into an overburdened, unprepared civilian healthcare system that isn't equipped to handle them. I have an article from Vanity Fair about this that I will also add, since sources are being requested. I will provide them. What are the concerns today regarding data privacy? So since I talked about Elon Musk and his team, his Doge team, being given access to veterans' data in all of this, so Elon Musk's team has granted access to VA computer systems, meaning our personal health records, our meaning veterans, disability claims, and private information are now in the hands of a man who has openly mocked people with PTSD and disabilities. No oversight, no accountability, just Musk and his people digging through veterans' data. And this is a quote from military.com, which I will... Whoops, nope, not open link. Wrong button. Give me a second. I clicked open link instead of copy link. So this is from a military.com article about Musk and his team's insertion into veterans' data. And then how can veterans and concerned citizens voice their opposition? Contact your elected officials. Make it clear that gutting the VA is a red line. Get involved with veterans advocacy groups such as the DAV, IAVA, the VFW, and Vote Vets, organizations that actually fight for us. And then spread the word. The media isn't covering this enough. So it's on us to make sure that people know what's happening. That was my FAQ section. I want to open that up to anybody who wants to respond to that before I get to my closing remarks. Right. You and I were talking about this earlier. You mentioned about, like, if everything goes to shit, hopefully some counselors like you would be willing to step up and fill in, but that is a hopefully, because I know, or I should say, I have garnered from our interactions that you are somebody who is willing to step up and make sure that somebody doesn't unalive themselves because of this stuff, but you are one person. Right, exactly. That is one of the caveats there. Like, no offense, like, I'm not trying to diminish your point. You. Oh shit! I never turned my camera back on. I got. Uh, it's still doing the dots? You know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna go to voice at this point. I'm not gonna try and install the initiate the camera. Let's just get to the finality of this. Oh yeah, no. I thank you. I appreciate that, and I hope that my voice on this topic matters to people, because but people are going to die. I don't want me to be one of them, and I will assure everyone listening that the crisis hotline is not what I am worried about when it comes to my livelihood. It is the other cuts that they are looking at making that will impact my livelihood. This is just a weird ass stepping stone to be saying, oh, yep, Veterans Crisis Hotline, there's $90 million worth of waste that we can just get rid of. What else are they going to get rid of that they think is waste? That's where we're at right now. Well, I feel like they will be. I feel like they will be. Continue, though, please. All right, cool. Does anybody else have anything they want to add before I get to my closing statements? Going once. Going twice. All right, cool. All right. So, for anybody listening, here's what you can do starting today. 1. Stay informed. Read up on what's happening. Follow credible sources, not just whatever sound bites politicians are throwing out. 2. Speak up. Call your representatives. Show up to town halls. Make noise. 3. Support veterans organizations. Groups like DAV, IAVA, the VFW, and Vote Vets are on the front lines of this fight, so donate if you can. If not, amplify their message. 4. Demand accountability. This administration wants to privatize and dismantle the VA. Fine. Hold them accountable for the damage they're doing. And 5. Look out for each other. If you're a veteran, check in on your brothers and sisters. If you know a veteran, reach out. We can't rely on this administration to have our backs. We have to have each other's. We fought for this country. We bled for this country. Some of us died for this country. And I'll be damned if we let Trump and Musk strip away everything that we have earned. We are not done fighting. Not by a long shot. Those were my closing words. And thank you all for being a part of this, and I really appreciate your time. Take care.